Welcome back, friends, to the Polished Podcast. We hope you're enjoying our conversation today with Sarah Kuban. Now it's time to add a dash of spontaneity and a sprinkle of fun to the show. It's time for Ask Me Anything. Sarah, this is how it works. This is a chance for us to kind of peel back the layers to get to know the woman behind the work, the quirks behind the expertise. And I'm just going to ask you a couple questions here that I and our audience have curated because we just want to follow our curiosity to know more about you. Are you ready?
I'm ready. All
right. So you have mentioned quite a few projects that you've been involved in. Is there one that just holds a special place in your heart?
Every show that I've worked on Magnolia, almost every show, has been so fun and such a. But years and years and years ago, I was feeling pretty frustrated in this. I was actually maybe 2 years into not the Magnolia job, but my job at HG.
Yes,
where so how it works is you oversee a bunch of shows. A bunch of series. So I was overseeing Kitchen Crashers and Yard Crashers and I Hate My Bath and whatever the shows were at the time. And I probably had 17 shows and I was learning a whole lot, but I was still pretty young. I mean, I still think I'm pretty young in this.
Yeah, you are.
I was just feeling very frustrated and a mentor at the time sat me down and she said, you need to learn how to develop shows on your own. You don't need agents bringing you shows. You don't need production companies bringing you shows. You have a brain, use it, make shows.
Okay.
What shows should people watch? And I was frustrated with that answer because I wanted the easy way out of not having to think and having just a production company say, this is a great show. Take it, pitch it to your team.
Sure.
It's a win.
Yes.
But I was watching the Today Show one morning and Jen Hatmaker.
Yes.
I don't know if you know Jen. She was on the Today Show and she was talking about this blog that she wrote called The Worst End of School Year Mom Ever or something. I think it was kind of the blog that launched her.
Okay.
And it was hilarious. And she was so funny. And I was like, I wonder if she likes to paint walls. I wonder if she wants to renovate anything in her house because she's funny and it would be a great show. So there's another Asbury alum, Esther Fleece, and she worked in the publishing world. And I emailed her and I was like, Esther, do you know anybody who works with Jen Hatmaker? She's like, oh yeah, we have the same, I don't know. She somehow connected me. And a couple days later, I got on a phone call with Jen and I told her what I did. And I was like, would you guys ever think about, selling your house? And she's like, I don't paint walls. I was like, okay. I don't really do we don't really do anything handy. And I was like, okay. And then I said, well, what about they had 5 kids. I said, what about selling your house and moving into a house and renovating it while you live in it? And she was like, I have 5 kids and 2 of them don't even speak English. She just adopted 2 kids from Ethiopia. And she's like, 2 of them don't even speak English. I cannot renovate no.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, if you ever decide that you want to do some renovation, call me because I think your family would be really fun on TV.
Sure.
And a couple days later, she called me back and she said, okay, we'll do it. I was like, what? And she did. Her and her husband at the time, Brandon, they sold their house. They bought a fixer-upper in Buda, Texas. They went knocking door to door, asking people are you going to sell your house? There's a couple houses I think that they were interested in. And then their current house, I think Jen is still there. We did it. We did it over a series and we watched this family and these, one of their sons, Ben, he had never had a room to himself and they created this room for him. And
wow.
So we followed their journey of moving from their old house to the new house with 5 kids, listing their house, getting their kids in and out of the house it was a real authentic story of nothing was made up. We just followed the process of whatever. I mean, Jen would probably say this was made up and this was made up, but in my mind, I thought we were just following the authentic story. And we followed them as they went on this adventure of renovating this house and making it their dream home. And one of my bosses at the time, Courtney, she went on to run Food Network and now has a production company, but she came up to me this was my first show that I had done totally. Like, I created it. I had the vision for it. I edited the video at my desk of like the little sizzle tape that I showed our team.
Yeah.
And Courtney came up to me after that first episode and she put her hand on my shoulder and she's like, Sarah, I was Sarah Seaton at the time. Sarah Seaton, like, you did it. And I was like, did what? And she's like, you made a great show. I was like, oh. So that was just that first episode. And as the episodes came in, I got a phone call from Kathleen Finch, who now Kathleen runs all of the U.S. networks for Discovery, Warner Brothers Discovery. She is over cable, really. Like she.
Okay.
But Kathleen is who kind of helped launch my career in this world and has really was a mentor for many, many years. And she called me and she was like, I was just going to watch one episode while I was eating my lunch. And 4 episodes later, I can't stop watching because this family was so compelling. And I think it's like, that was a moment that I realized, like, you have good ideas too. Like, follow your gut, follow what you know is like, this is good. This is funny. This is authentic. This is real. This is not fabricated. And you know it. You don't have to be in my job and you don't have to have my experience to know that, like, this is a good show. So like, anyway, that was probably my favorite show because I feel like that was like a turning point in making good television.
Yeah, no, I love that story, Sarah. That's certainly inspiring. And I don't know, that it's like you did it. You did it.
I'm like, yeah. I still am like, did I really? And then here we are, 8 million shows later.
Exactly. Look at you go. Well, I have one more question for you. I know the media life can be stressful. It can take up a lot of your time. You got a family at home. How do you balance work in your personal life? And do you have any self-care practices that you do?
Ooh, no self-care because I have 3 kids under the age of 7 and I probably should be better at like that.
Sure.
I'm not. I'm like, whatever.
That's okay.
My secret is my family comes first. Always. No matter what.
I love that. I love that.
This is a job and I love it and I feel like I'm good at it and I love my team and I want to support my team. But my message even to my team is your family comes first. Your mental health comes first. You want to go on vacation, go on vacation. Do not check your email. Do not respond. Do not pass your shows off to people who are not on vacation. Like I'm leaving today at 3:30 because my kids have piano at 4. And it is important to me that I take my kids to piano. Actually, I will say this too. You can't have it all. You can't be a great mom and a great friend and a great spouse and a great employee and a great boss and a great leader. Like you can't, like something's always going to be tipping one way or the other.
Yes.
And it's when you get too far tipped that you're like, maybe I should come back this way a little bit. And maybe I should.
Sure.
There are times when I'm a really rock star mom, but I'm a really bad employee. And there are times when I am a really great wife, but I am not a great mom. And there are times, and I think there's grace for all of that, but realizing like what is most important in your life. And, our company has seen this a lot this year with all the layoffs. It's like, this could end in a second, but that's your like those little people that you're investing in, like they're more important than anything else in this world. And so that's how I balance.
Yeah.
I like to close the computer and watch movies with my kids. Because
there you go. What's your favorite movie?
We're real into Home Alone these days.
That's awesome.
We watch it all year long.
Do you really?
Every single one of them. Oh my gosh.
I love it.
In the stinking pandemic and now we can't. And they just love Kevin McAllister.
Oh, he's great. Oh, it's one of my top 5 Christmas movies for sure. Well, Sarah, thanks for sharing with us. Here's the thing, friends. We want you to be a part of our conversation. We want your burning questions, your curious musings, and your wildly wonderings about our guests. So if there's something you've always wanted to ask or wanted to know more about, here's your chance to learn more. Go to our website, polishednetwork.org. Be a Polished Podcast MVP and send in those questions today. You'll get a mention and insight into your favorite guests. We can't wait to dive into the queries and unveil the surprises that await. So send in those questions today.